Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hello everyone, Namaste. Welcome to the fifth video on Sanyasa Yoga. In the fourth video, we have learned about some of the one-liner references in the chapter. Now in today's video, we are going to explore the meaning and context of some more one-liner references. They are on the screen now. Gachancha punaravrittim gnana nirdhuta kalmasha, whose impurities are destroyed by the knowledge of the self, do not take birth again. Sunichaiva svapakecha pandita samadasinaha, an enlightened person looks with an equal eye an outcast or a dog. Ihaivatayjitasagga esham samyastritam manaha. Everything has been accomplished in this very life by one whose mind is set in equality. Na prahushet priyam prapya no dvije prapracha priyam. One who neither rejoices on obtaining what is pleasant nor grieves on obtaining the unpleasant. Ajantavanta kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Therefore the wise, O Arjuna, do not rejoice in sensual pleasures. Saknoti havayas sodhum praksarira vimochanat. One who is able to withstand the impulses of lust and anger before death. Chinnadvaida yatātmānah sarvabhuta hite rata, whose doubts about the existence of the universal self have been dispelled by self-knowledge, whose minds are disciplined, and who are engaged in the welfare of all beings, attain the Supreme Being. Kāmakrodhaviyuktānāṁ yatīnāṁ yatacetasām, those who are free from lust and anger, who have subdued the mind and senses. Now, the references in detail. Gachancha punaravrittim gnana nirdhuta kalmasha, whose impurities are destroyed by the knowledge of the self, do not take birth again. With the dawn of self-knowledge, the sadhaka has totally lost even the remnants of material disposition which he was holding earlier. His antakarana is in absolute union with Brahman. The forces of material nature lost their war. They were annihilated in the fire of self-knowledge. The sadhaka has achieved this state through constant Sravana Manana Nididhyasa of Bhagavan's teachings, his qualities, and the path of union with him. The sadhaka has realized Brahman is his Atma. Having clarified all his doubts, he is now fully established in the self within, negating everything that is non-self. He no more recognizes himself with his earlier physical identity in the world. He does nothing at all. There is no karma for him to perform. Once he lost his identity with his body and the world, he has lost the need to perform any karma to meet the needs of physical self or temporal oriented. Having relinquished everything, he reached his abode, the Brahman. He doesn't have any other identity, no dependence on non-self affairs. How he could achieve this? His dispassion led to self-inquiry, and self-inquiry led to his living in Sravana Manana Nididhyasa, and as a result, he had cast away all his doubts and established himself in Brahman. What is the end result for his sadhana? Persons whose mind and intellect are totally merged in the eternal being, who are firmly devoted to the Supreme, who have God as their supreme goal and sole refuge, and whose impurities are destroyed by the knowledge of the self, do not take birth again. The next reference, Sunichaiva svapakecha pandita samadarshinaha, an enlightened person looks with an equal eye an outcast or a dog. An enlightened person, by perceiving God in all, looks at a learned person, an outcast, even a cow, an elephant, or a dog with an equal eye. This reference outlines the perspective of an enlightened person. How does he look at various beings in the world? Who are those various beings? The beings who are predominated by three different gunas. They are 1. A humble Brahmin who has attained self-knowledge and who is the embodiment of pure sattvic guna. 2. Cow, which predominates rajoguna. 3. An elephant, a dog, and an outcast who predominate tamoguna. An enlightened person looks at them with an equal eye. How is he able to achieve it? Because he has transcended these three modes of material nature. He is nirguna. He is not body conscious. He is not worldly conscious. Now his mind and intellect are totally merged in the eternal being. He is delighted in the experience of Supreme Being within. He sees one and the same spirit in all beings. We may see the reflection of the sun in water, liquor, or in dirty water. It makes no difference to sun rays or sun. The sun is untouched by anything external to him because he is living and reflecting in his own prakasha, light, which cannot be impacted by any means. The next reference, Ihaiva taijyata sarga esham samya sthitam manaha. Everything has been accomplished in this very life by one whose mind is set in equality. Everything has been accomplished in this very life by one whose mind is set in equality. Such a person has realized the Supreme Being because the Supreme Being is flawless and impartial. This reference is in continuation of the previous one. An enlightened person looks at everyone with an equal eye. One Atma exists in all beings. It is similar to the reflection of the moon in several water containers. We may see the moon in a glass of water, in a river water, and in bowl of water, and in many other places. However, the moon is one. One moon is reflected everywhere. Similarly, one Atma seamlessly powers every living being. Atma is flawless, impartial, free from all modifications, changelessly eternal and one. An enlightened person realizes this. How he could achieve this vision of oneness because he himself is flawless and impartial. He is not a physical being living on this soil. His mind and intellect are totally merged in the eternal being. He is now the immortal, changeless, flawless, pure and blissful Brahman. He has accomplished everything in this very life. The next reference, Na prahushet priyam prapya, no dvije prapracha priyam. One who neither rejoices on obtaining what is pleasant nor grieves on obtaining the unpleasant. One who neither rejoices on obtaining what is pleasant nor grieves on obtaining the unpleasant, who has a steady mind, who is undeluded, and who is a knower of the Supreme Being. Such a person eternally abides with the Supreme Being. As a knower of Supreme Being, the enlightened person doesn't recognize the mind. He has merged it in the eternal being. Thus, he is not affected by the actions of sensory organs. The sense objects cannot impact him. He is free from attachment. There is nothing that should be done by him, nor there is anything unobtained or he wishes to obtain. Thus, he neither rejoices on obtaining what is pleasant, nor grieves on obtaining the unpleasant. He has shed these dualities. He is content with the Supreme Being alone. He has no interest whatsoever in what is done or what is not done. The next reference, Ajyantavantaha kaunteya nateshu ramate buddha. Therefore, the wise, O Arjuna, do not rejoice in sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures are, in fact, the source of misery and have a beginning and an end. Therefore, the wise, O Arjuna, do not rejoice in sensual pleasures. Sensual pleasures that appear as nectar in the beginning but become poison in the end are in the mode of passion. They are the source of misery. They have a beginning and an end. They are the characteristics of the non-self. The Atma is eternal. The physical body constituting mind, intellect and sense organs is transitory and it changes. Bhagavan suggests Arjuna not to be impacted by the delusion of mind, which is transitory being the modification of mind. The next reference, Sekinoti Haves Sodum Praksari Ravi Mokshanat. One who is able to withstand the impulses of lust and anger before death. One who can withstand the impulses of lust and anger before death is a yogi and a happy person. Bhagavan says, lust, anger and greed are the three gates of hell leading to the downfall of the individual. Therefore, one must learn to give up these three. It is the lust, born out of passion, that becomes anger when unfulfilled. Lust is insatiable and is a great devil. The senses, the mind and the intellect are said to be the seat of lust. Lust deludes a person by controlling the senses, the mind and the intellect and wields self-knowledge. Thus Krishna suggests to withstand the impulses of lust and anger before death so that one will be free from committing sins in this life. How to achieve it? Knowing the self to be the highest and controlling the mind by intellect that is purified by spiritual practices, one must kill this mighty enemy, lust, with the sword of true knowledge of the self. The next reference, Chinnadvaida yatātmānah sarvabhuta hite rata, whose doubts about existence of the universal self have been dispelled by self-knowledge, whose minds are disciplined and who are engaged in the welfare of all beings, attain the Supreme Being. Seers whose sins are destroyed, whose doubts about the existence of the universal self have been dispelled, by self-knowledge, whose minds are disciplined, and who are engaged in the welfare of all beings, attain the Supreme Being. This reference explains some of the means to attain Nirvana. 1. Performance of yajna like rituals which will destroy sins. 2. Embracing renouncement through cleansing of minds by perpetual inquiry of self and non-self. 3. Dispelling doubts about the existence of the universal self through scriptural study and discourses. 4. Disciplining mind to establish in the self within. And 5. Engage in the welfare of all beings. This denotes that only self-knowledge can lead to nirvana. No other means like karma yoga alone can lead to attainment of the Supreme Being. The next reference, kāmakrodhaviyuktānāṁ yatīnāṁ yatacetasām. Those who are free from lust and anger, who have subdued their mind and senses. Those who are free from lust and anger, who have subdued the mind and senses, and who have realized the existence of the self, easily attain nirvana. In the earlier reference, we learned that the one who is able to withstand the impulses of lust and anger before death is a yogi and a happy person. This takes a step further, saying that one should subdue the mind and senses and become free from lust and anger. Even the very occurrence of lust and anger should not be there. How to achieve this? The sadhaka should meditate to calm his mind and achieve control of senses through meditation. He should practice meditation having external contact excluded and with the gaze fixed between the eyebrows, having made equal the outgoing and ingoing breaths, moving within the nostrils, with senses, mind and intellect ever controlled, solely pursuing liberation. Such a sage having forever casting away desire, fear and passion verily is liberated. With this, I close today's video. I hope you find the videos informative in your learning. We will continue our understanding of Sanyasa Yoga through further videos. If you have any questions, please let me know the same in the comments below. I will respond to them appropriately in the spirit of Bhagavan's teachings. Let us remember the sacred words. Bhagavad Gita is the ultimate spiritual sadhana.